Hi there, and welcome to Born and Red. By popular demand, I say we've been getting lots of messages saying why we only doing the Friday night show, or why we only doing the on the road pre and post match reactions. So here we are. It might not be live, but as promised, we're giving you a lot more content coming forward, and we've got a few ideas as well. Today we've got Mustafa 345. His real name is Waj, probably his burner account. God knows who he's
His
messaging.
sons.
Yeah, technology and me don't go together.
Oh my God. Is this your sort of fake Gmail account? Yeah.
Yeah. If something goes wrong,
Oh, brilliant. Look, let's introduce our friend, our brother first. Waj, he's born and bred, pardon the pun, in Keighley as well, just like us, and a massive. I call you a proper old timer, Red, Waj. How are you
oh
doing,
yes,
first of all? And
seen it
more
all.
welcome, and big welcome to you, man. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. You guys okay?
I'm all right, thanks. I've just seen you in the gym about half an hour ago, so you know I'm good. Gene, have you
No.
calmed down since Saturday? Feeling better?
Yeah,
What have you
man.
been doing since yesterday?
Sort of calmed down. Feeling a bit. Well, I was under the weather yesterday, but I'm
Is
better
that
today. I
is that
think it's
because
that
of the
flipping.
game?
I think it was a bit of everything. A bit of the game. That really 45-minute wait getting into the stadium as well. There was a cause. I think I must pick someone up from there. I don't know what it was, but at least I'm better now. So that's the main thing. And yep, looking forward to the next game.
Good stuff. Look, we're gonna. I just wanted to. I put the title as the sort of a review of the Everton game, and then slash looking ahead to our sort of Napoli game. It's on Wednesday, and it's a ground that it's been a bit of a haunting ground for us, isn't it? Because we've not been getting any decent results there. But maybe that's for later, and we'll discuss the Napoli game. But let's just rewind back to Saturday, 12:30, another 12:30 kickoff, Gene, where we started okay, for 5 minutes or so. We started pinging the ball around, and it took 5 minutes or so for Everton. And whether it was a tactical change, I don't know, from Lampard, but it took them about 5 minutes or so to work out what we're doing, what we're trying to do. And yes, a lot of people know how the way we play, but we took looking into the lineup. we put Carvalho and Elliott into the lineup, and that was something different for Everton. Maybe it took them 5-10 minutes to work out, but once they did, they came into the game, and for 30 minutes after the first 5 minutes or so, Everton were the better side, I think.
Yeah, look, I think we had the possession. I'd say we controlled the game in terms of possession.
Mm.
But looking at the game as a whole, in terms of chances created, the first half I'm going by, I don't think we created enough. I didn't think in terms of the actual play, our passing, getting in behind, there was none. We struggled really to get Nunes into the game. I know it was his first game back, but I expected a lot more, especially with that you mentioned the two attacking players, in let's say 2 8s.
Mm.
We didn't really see us as an attacking threat. But it was. I know because we had the possession, and might look like we were, you know, in control, but we didn't really threaten much. The only chances we really had in the first half was the unlucky two which we hit the crossbar and the crossbar and the post
Yeah.
with Salah, with Diaz and Nunes. But all in all, if we're just going by the first half, I thought we were pretty poor. We might have had the possession. There was no penetration. There was no look. Yeah, there was fighting, all of that. Can't really knock the players for anything like that. But this Everton side, hadn't won a game this season. We should have won that game going in. And yeah, I know a lot of people have said any other, a draw at Merseyside Derby we're happy with, but we're not in that state of mind where we can draw any games. So I was a bit disappointed with the first half.
Sorry, guys. I think I've got a bit of a visitor behind me. I normally put a lock
Myri's
on.
in the building. Is she better
Oh,
now?
sorry.
She's
It's
home.
Myra. Yeah, she's a
Oh
lot
my!
better. She's a lot better. Myra, you need to go out.
He's
You
not
can
going
go back
nowhere.
to
Are you better now? Yeah.
Myri, you need to go. Guys, give me 2 seconds. Let me just get her out of the room. 2
Leave her.
seconds. Let me just.
Yeah, she needs bedtime, man.
Oh, oh, did you hear that? She said no.
No,
Wait,
no, no.
2 seconds, guys. 2 seconds.
I think she's gone. Yeah, Waj, man. So, bloody, it's one of them games, man, for me anyway.
You know, the problem we've got this season is our football's too passive. It's like nobody wants to play. Well, they look for the killer ball, but it's always, is this a sensible ball? Or maybe it's try some, other normal. Like I know back in the days we haven't got them kind of players like Alonso or Gerrard that'd ping these balls and that. But everything's safe as soon as somebody in midfielder picks it up. Instead of looking for a ball through like Thiago would, or maybe Arthur's going to maybe do so now. But prior to that, everything's like, let's pass it sideways. The understanding on the left flank, obviously, is still not there at the moment. And I think, to be honest with you, Diaz in a central role doesn't seem to cut it as what it would do if he were out wide. But then Roberts don't overlap when he's out wide. So there's obviously teething problems at the moment. I know Diaz has played well since he's been here, but they're still getting used to each other's game. And I think another couple of games, don't forget, in a sense, it's still pre-season, isn't it, for a lot of them. Like Van Dijk looks like he's still getting back up to speed and stuff, even though...
6 games in, Waj, man. 6 games in, we're still in pre-season.
But then, no, but in that case, don't forget they've hardly had a break. And he's obviously come back from an injury last year. But Joe Gomez looked good over the weekend. And if you want, I know Office Pickford had the game of his life. Any other game, he just spilt one or two of them in back at net. But the one that I was watching, the reaction on LFC TV earlier on, and if you actually watch the one that Salah, it says from Salah, near post, that's arguably save of the season. Because they normally go in, but if you watch right at the end, probably the last kick of the game, he gets his fingers. I thought he'd hit the post, but he actually gets his finger to it. But then if you look at it, it's a Merseyside Derby, and let's be honest, if you're not going to be up for a game in the Merseyside Derby, you might as well not bother playing, had you? These kind of games, bragging
we were up
rights.
for it in that sense. Look, we were up for it. It's just...
I think the fight's there. I think the quality is just missing at the moment.
It is. Well, look, Gene, going back to the lineup, my problem with the lineup was I don't have any problem with playing Javi Elliott and Carvalho, but it's something new to Liverpool. Why? Because last couple of years, we've sort of been used to having three sort of, I know I don't want to say pragmatic, but sort of full of energy type of players in a flat three, the Wijnaldums, the Hendersons, the Fabinhos. Now we've seen a gradual evolvement in sort of Javi Elliott. It started last year, but we didn't see much of it because he got injured, obviously, at Leeds. And once he came back, just the games were too big for him to come and start, getting into the team and getting up to speed. But this year, again, we've seen what we saw at the start of last season. But my problem is if you play that setup, not only you have an extra responsibility on Fabinho in terms of making play and mopping up play because he's the alone defensive midfielder, but then you need to make sure those two attacking midfielders either side of him get the ball. And for me, they were starved of possession and almost too far away from Fabinho. And Everton saw that. What they did was they stayed narrow, because in their sort of midfielders, even the attacking wingers, they became all of a sudden very sort of compact, and they're very comfortable with it because they've got legs. The likes of Damari Gray, the likes of Iwobi, the likes of Mope, even from the front, and even Anthony Gordon. They were all very, very narrow, and they were only narrow because they were blocking the passing lanes to our attacking midfielders, and all of a sudden we couldn't get out. But that's my only problem, is because and to credit to Everton, and they really pushed on us and pressed on us, but Liverpool for 35 minutes up until sort of about 5 to 10 minutes before half time couldn't find a way to beat that press.
I watched the game again, Asim, and as again I'll mention, I was the one who said I wanted Carvalho to start. It was a bit of a catch-22 from a Liverpool situation. We've always said Hendo, in the last couple of games, me and you have come out and said Hendo doesn't work in that system, coming on the left-hand side, right? So who do you play then? Harvey started well with Fabinho, and the fans have been calling out that they want to see Carvalho start. He wasn't, that was the position that he was going to start. And fair play to Klopp. Look, we went with that formation from my side, from what the formation that I wanted. So I was really happy with the formation start of the game. But very quickly, I saw it. You saw it very quickly that we lack cutting edge here. There was a big hole in that midfield, and you could see it because it was very passive. And Waj mentioned it earlier. It was passive in our play. We couldn't find. You mentioned we couldn't find Joe. They were happy for Joe Gomez and Van Dijk to receive the ball. Fair play. You do keep the ball. Do what you want with it. They were happy for them. As soon as they just blocked everything off. As soon as they went out wide, they were pretty aggressive in their approach. They tried to press us, and they did pretty well with that. And a lot of teams are doing this against us this season now, where they're actually pressing us. They're not allowing us space and time on the ball. It's a Merseyside derby. You're never going to really get time and space in a Merseyside derby. So fair play to them. But from a Liverpool perspective, we really struggled with them too. And yeah, look, we missed Thiago and we missed his craft in the midfield, especially in the two, because it's like a double pivot, like you've mentioned previously, where we play with them too, really, because he just sits there and he'll receive the ball and look for them through balls into the let's say the half spaces and out wide. But we struggled. We struggled with the form. We struggled with our formation. We struggled to get the key players on the ball. We were going far too wide at times. I felt we could have played them through when you're playing with 2-8s, you have to be able to be good enough to play it through the middle of the park. I thought we struggled to play anything. It was the same. It was the same, even though we played with the 2-8s. The football was the same. Did we really see a change in our formation? And fair play to Everton. They did a decent job on us in the middle of the park.
Waj, like Gene mentioned, when teams do sort of try to block and sit on, Fabinho, it's not a new tactic from, other teams, opposition, because when they do, we do have another player, whether it's even Henderson, whose his distribution from that deep lying midfielder role is good. Thiago's is unbelievable. So we have another player pulling the strings. So how many times have we seen Fabinho just sort of push a further 5-10 yards forward, so it allows the space of the other player sort of playing alongside him? But on this occasion, it felt like what Gene said about Gomez and Van Dijk. This year, that switch from Van Dijk out to our winger, it doesn't seem the same to me.
I think, to be honest, if you look at a lot of the games, Salah's always doubled up, and there's always a third man in. So basically, and I think Mane is, we don't want to mention Mane again, but he's a big miss. Let's be honest, because he did so. He occupied people. He never got bullied. And I think a lot of the games I watched it like the United game when I can't remember what his name now. The chap from Ajax, Martinez, and like Salah was walking across, he couldn't chin him. You think, hold on, that should have given him all this. I'll tell you what, mate, I'm going to show you who I am. But he didn't. It went missing. And I think I realised one or two things. Like every time we get the ball, we're just that keen on getting the ball in the box. But we've got a bit of a presence now, Núñez. But when Núñez wasn't playing, we still play the same way. Instead of thinking, I'll tell you what, we haven't got a big man up front. Let's play to feet. But the most frustrating thing is when we get out wide and we're crossing these balls, and like as though we've got some of Núñez in now. But prior to the last couple of games when he's been missing, we're putting these crosses in to people who are like 5 foot. Well, Salah's probably 5'8", 5'9". Harvey Elliott's probably about 4'2" by the look of things, and Carvalho's not much taller either. And I think the biggest problem we have is our midfield don't go beyond. And I think this is where we see that our midfield don't score many goals. So we're either relying on his full-backs to do the job, or we're relying on his front three. If our midfield is chipped in with every now and then, maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 goals between them. Forget saying one man with 15. It'd help us a lot. Because at least then, if somebody can hit pile driver, I mean, like we're on that with the Arthur kid that we bought now, and I was reading a couple of things on him, and they said Allegri didn't rate him. Why didn't he rate him? Because let's be honest, he's not a defensive midfielder. He can't defend, but give him the ball. And in his play, he's very much similar as to Thiago when he gets the ball. He looks for his little play, and once he's got the ball at his feet, I mean, we haven't seen him in the Premier League yet, but he very rarely loses the ball. So then at least it pushes on the front foot.
But Gene, Waj mentioned, we need some goals from midfield. But we know why we don't get goals from midfield is because one of the main reasons is why, because a lot of them can't stay fit. The likes of Curtis Jones, Naby Keita, Ox, we saw chip in with a few goals when the lads went off the AFCON last year, and he chipped in, 3-4 goals from what I remember.
Yeah,
So the main
to be
thing
fair,
is,
Fabinho scored a few last year as well. I remember there's a game where he scored like 4 or 5.
yeah, he did. I think there are fewer penalties, but a fewer. I think he's got
A
a
couple in the
header
FA
against
Cup as
They
Brentford.
well.
all count, don't they?
But they all count.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. But my point is they can't stay
All
fit.
in all. Yeah, look,
Generally
Asim, the
speaking,
big...
and that's the big problem, and we've discussed this at length over the last 3-4 weeks. And we sound like a broken record. Yeah, we know we didn't bring that dynamic midfielder in, and that's what sort of Waj is on about. But we have to go with what we got. We've bought in Ato in now. We might
True,
see
though,
him
but the
start.
question arises, why did we bring one in? Why did we wait so long? And then you read the papers. I know papers are obviously got whatever they can in. Zakaria, but he's not dynamic. So what exactly kind of midfielder are we looking for? Klopp comes out 1 minute saying we don't need anybody. And all of a sudden, there is a midfielder out there. Now, Arthur's probably not the answer, but it sounded like we were desperate to get somebody in, a body in more than anything else.
Yeah, because
we could have bought, let's be honest, you watch a Wolves game, Mateus Nunes, he looks a fantastic player, and he already looks like he's a Premier League player. And he was desperate to join us.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Okay, look, let's go back to the game, Waj. After 35 minutes or so, we started. You could tell Everton put a lot into the game. And after 35 minutes, I thought from 35 minutes to the halftime whistle, if one side was happy, a halftime came, I thought it was Everton because, we started sort of, getting some passing patterns, started creating some triangles. We saw even once we went over the top and, Nunes had a brilliant, control the ball and whacked it across goal. And that actually, incidentally, reminded me of, the Torres goal at Anfield against
Blackburn.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it? And, but for, Little Arms that saved it and put it onto the bar, it would have been a cracking goal. But, a bit on Nunes, Gene, before that, you don't really see, a lot of him. And I know he's not, Bobby Firmino. He's not going to come into those spaces and start connecting play. But it feels like, yes, I know but for him sort of getting sent off, he would have and should have played a lot more games. But it feels like Liverpool are confused at the moment in which way to play. And yeah, I know we sort of expected him to play more. But it seemed like we want to play, sort of the Nunes style. We want to sort of look for him. But I think at the moment, teams are prepared for that. And they also know the way when Bobby plays, and they know exactly what we want to do because he is the catalyst to our attack. And it feels like Liverpool haven't had the game time when Nunes is on the pitch to really sort of, join the dots together.
Yeah, look, that is going to take us time. I mean, look, it was his second game, where I think second game. One he started off the bench. Palace, he got sent off. It was his first full game, and it is going to take some sort of time in terms of gelling because prior to that, I thought him and Salah generally, I felt as though they look, they look like they've got some sort of chemistry between them.
Yeah.
But this game, there was a lack of cohesion between the front three, let's say. I expect a lot more from the three in terms of their play. I think in previous years when we get to the final third, let's say, we look like we're in control, right? We look like there's something going to happen. That something's going to happen. It feels like right now we're relying on some sort of brilliance, or we're relying on some sort of luck when we get there. We're not really creating the play. There's no, I don't really see a move, Asim. That's, where the front three, you see the ball, you can see, there's going to be some intricate play between them. Do we really see that? And that is going to take some time because it is a slight change in play. And I get where you're coming from because, look, we are a bit lost. Look, probably pre-season, the guys were probably thinking, Nunes is going to play. This is how we're going to play. So they worked out, all their drills and everything were to suit Nunes. All of a sudden, we had a massive clangor with Nunes getting sent off. And then they were in their mindset was, all for the last 2 months, they've been playing a certain way. And then Bobby's coming. They've had to go back to the old way of adapting and then adapting again. Now Nunes is back. So I think it is going to take a bit of time for us to gel as a team with a proper 9 because he hasn't had the game time.
Yeah.
So let's, we'll have to wait and see in terms of look, there's the quality's there. It just needs to click. The three up front, I'm not too bothered about. I'm not too worried about. Salah still creating the chances. Yes, he might not be scoring as many, but he will come good. It's only a matter of time. Diaz will come good. Diaz has actually a decent start. I thought he was quiet on them. Bar that shot, I thought he was slightly quiet, but generally speaking, he will come good. And Nunes, I've no doubt in Nunes. People can say what they want. Give him some time. The guy's gonna bag. I'm more interested in the midfield, Asim, which I'm thinking with.
Waj, Gene's right. We didn't have cohesion in, generally speaking, in the first half. It was disjointed. I think the word Gene used on his post-match reaction on Saturday, which perfectly summed up the way we're playing. So come, sort of the players are into the changing rooms at half time, and the manager has got a decision to make, which I thought was a brave one. Whether he was forced to do that, maybe because Carvalho got a knock, unfortunately. But he could have put Milner into the midfield, there and then. But he put Bobby in. And all of a sudden, we started causing havoc because we all of a sudden started having an extra attacker. So in the first half, where our fullbacks I thought were too high, Fabinho was sort of being pressed upon from their sort of narrow midfielders. The ball was, like we discussed, with Gomez and Van Dijk. And because of our fullbacks are by default too high, everyone all of a sudden was too far away from each other. So, but now Klopp has decided to go more or less a 4-2-1-3 or a 4-2-4, if you like. And we started really, it was a 4-2-4, yeah. So we started really causing havoc and pinned Everton back. And all of a sudden, up to the 60th minute, we started creating chance after chance.
Bobby played well when he came on. But the thing with Bobby, though, if you look at it, though, he does things that makes him look so simple. Things that other players make look, it's hard work, not with Bobby. Like the one shot he had where I think it must have been a personal vendetta that their keeper had against him, because every time he hit somewhere, he stopped it. And normally, he's got a good record against Everton. And I think the fact that when he's on, I think, him and Nunes together, I think it'd be good, because Nunes can play on the end. He can play out wide. There's not really any part of his game. I think at the moment, he's trying a bit too hard. Trying to impress. Like there's one occasion he lost the ball and he's run all the way back. But then if you think about it, at least the drag, like Salah near the end when everyone were on the break, and I think Mopi had that shot. If you actually watch it carefully, Salah's the one that's actually sprinting all the way back. That shows, listen, that's what you want in your players, to show the guy, to show, listen, the passion there, we want to do it. And it'll come good. It's just a matter of time. But the problem, time is what we haven't got. We're dropping points. It's a good job. I know I shouldn't be saying this, that Man U beat Arsenal. We've got a fair few points behind them now.
Yeah, no, you're right. The start that we've had, you'd expect to be sort of 8 to 10 points, behind the leaders. But it maybe is one of those seasons where it's a bit of a strange one, where teams are just dropping points.
It's a season where 80 points could win it this year.
Yeah, and then you've got the World Cup to sort of consider as well. Who's going to handle that? Our team's going to pick up injuries after that. But going back to the game, Gene, and what you mentioned, and sort of we saw Salah run back and chase someone. I think Everton were on the break. Something has to give. All of a sudden, we're in a 4-2-4 position formation, and 2 or 3 chances. I can remember saying this to you when we were at the game. Everton's chances were coming from our corners, and
on the break.
And on the break. And the problem is in has to give. You have to sacrifice a bit of control if you're going to go 4-2-4. And all of a sudden, you've got Harvey Elliott supposed to, in theory, playing in a double pivot next to Fabinho. But his attacking instincts are not going to make him stay there. And he, all of a sudden, he's still playing in that half space. So it's like a 4-1-1-1-3 or a 4-1-5. Call it whatever you like. I couldn't work it out exactly what we were trying to do, but we were creating chances. And the downfall of that is Everton were also starting creating chances, especially on the 60th minute, which I thought was a big game changer. Trent got taken off Milner, and all of a sudden, Elliott couldn't really, stay in that position in the centre of midfield. But also, Everton realised that Milner is, vulnerable to that ball over the top. And in transition, they targeted that area behind him, and they got out so many times trying to use that tactic.
Like Trent in disguise.
You're a mute.
Sorry, Asim, I was on mute. Yeah. Look, Asim, it was way too easy. The amount of times, and the crazy thing is, it's straight down the middle. They ran from corners, they received the ball and was straight down the middle. There's a couple of times where we picked up a couple of bookings, and it was crazy because it was like a pure end-to-end stuff. They'd have a corner. We'd counter them. They'd do the same to us. It was a manic, frantic 5-10 minutes. It was, I thought. But yeah, like you mentioned, look, when you go and you're going chasing at that sort of time with them, let's not say chasing, let's say when you've got that many forward-thinking players on the pitch, of course you're going to be vulnerable to the counter. And they've got, like you mentioned earlier, they've got quick players, so they were going to do a lot well. Look, I've watched the game again, and it's hard. It's hard to sum up that game for me because we did create chances, and on another day we could have had 4. And it's a chance that we don't speak about. It's a Simicast chance which he put over the bar. When I think it came over to him. That was a big chance. Yeah, that angle was slightly tight, but that was a chance. There was still chances for us. Yes, Everton got a couple chances as well. With the Morpay one there, that I think he hit that other player, man. I forgot. I know his name, but he hit the bar in the first half.
Davis,
yeah.
Oh,
David and McNeil, that shot which was tipped over the bar as well in second half. But all in all, I thought we did enough to win the game. I thought we did enough to win the game with the chances we've created. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. We're just a bit unlucky, and we're just in a way lucky that, like Waj mentioned, that we're only still 5 behind City, which is crazy because we've been shambolic, and that's the real truth about our bar one game where Liverpool and the way we play, we've been shambolic in terms of what we're good enough to do. I understand the injuries, and thankfully Thiago's back. He's in training today, which is a massive boost to us going forward.
Yeah, definitely, and looking forward to him coming back as well into the team and start pulling the strings in midfield. Waj, I want to ask you about our Egyptian king. There's been a lot of talk about him. Why isn't he performing? His attitude is being questioned this week.
They said since the African Nations Cup, I think he scored 6 goals in 33 games.
Outfield goals, yeah. So he had the sort of excuse of, he's just overworked, a lot of intensity, a lot of big matches, mental fatigue. So, you kind of gave him the benefit of doubt. Why do you think, what's the reason for his lack of form and by his standards? Because normally if you've got 2-3 goals out of 6 games and you've got a couple of assists as well, if you're a normal player, you're doing well, but not in the world of Mohamed Salah. But what do you think? Should we be concerned?
I think you've got to be concerned because the numbers aren't good. Let's be honest. But
I'm not concerned yet, Waj, man. I think he's all right.
No, but I'm not concerned. But to a point, if you think about it, though, we've always looked at this guy and thought, what, at this time, since 6 games gone, this guy shot at least 4 goals or 3 goals. But he hasn't. It's not from a lack of trying, but you can tell in his face, even like if you watch him against, it's like the whole world's again. Maybe Pogba's done voodoo on him, I don't know. But somebody's done something somewhere because he seems, I don't know. Do you know when Mane was played? Yeah, he took a lot of pressure on Salah. I know, but it's reality, isn't it? It took a lot because now at the moment, if you think about it, though, Salah is our main man. Diaz has come in and out of game, but I think with Diaz, he seems more. I know he plays to the left, but he seems more dangerous when it's not like it comes in, and again he comes in and he comes in and then he comes in, and by the time you know it, he's might as well be next to Salah. Whereas I think, but then the problem Salah doesn't get a lot of space because by the time he's picked the ball up, if you notice a trend, fantastic at what he does and stuff, but you never see him overlapping. So if he doesn't overlap, there's nobody following him, which means Salah's always there to 1, 2, maybe even 3 to take on. And I know he's good, but come on, even God's have a day off. And I think that's the problem with him.
Whatever that means. But
I think, to be honest, there's a lot of pressure on that guy at the moment.
Okay. Jean, what's your take on it?
Look, I'm die hard through and through, Mo Salah fan, man. Muhammad is Muhammad, man. I can't say a word wrong about him. So personally, I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
play the
I
videos,
thought
eh?
I thought he's still he's still the biggest our biggest threat. He's still
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
assists. He's still got a few goals. He's in terms of chances created 24 compared to I think the rest are on like 14 or something. The next sort of player. So that just tells you what he's bringing. I get there's a slight tweak, but he's missing. He needs start in a way he's starved of service. I don't know yesterday,
Which is true.
sorry, yeah. Some of his he's look the two of our creative players who get the balls out wide to him, Van Dijk and Thiago. Van Dijk hasn't been great for the switch, and Thiago hasn't played. Then you got Trent, who plays on the right hand side. How many times you mentioned it to me that last week? How many times has Trent played that ball to Salah this year? Asim? The one that you always talk about, the ball over the top.
Yeah.
When have we really seen it? Not many. And Trent's off form, and that's the simple truth. Our fullbacks ain't on it, and so he's the one guy that can do something. Yes, he was. I thought he was poor against Everton, and that's me. That's hard for me to say, but I genuinely thought he was poor. I know he had the chance where he nearly won us the game. But from his standards, they are a lot higher. But am I worried?
Yeah.
No. Will he come good? Of course. He's been through a lot of adversity. How many times over the years have so many people fans said, "Oh, he's greedy. He doesn't pass the ball. He doesn't do this." All he's done is he just shuts up his critics all the time. And I'm fine with him. He will come good. We just need a set 11 to start once we get a couple back from injury. Thiago coming back, Nunes properly starting with him will I'm hoping free up a bit more space. Oh, my contact. Free up a bit more space for him on the left hand side, and he'll cause havoc again.
Yeah. Look, there's no doubt about it that Salah is getting extra attention from defenses. I think I'm mentioned to Gene as well, and I tweeted out as well today that you can tell defenses are switching over to that side a bit more because they know, especially we rely on a lot. I know we've got Diaz and Robo and previously Mane as well, like you mentioned, but generally speaking, we do attack a lot more down our right hand side. It's because of that triangle. But people need to understand is Harvey Elliott has come into the team now this year, and we can't have people have been saying for the last 4 or 5 weeks it's a lot wider, and I've been adamant saying, look, I can't see a distinct change if he's a wider. And I checked all the sort of heat maps over the last couple of seasons, and you can't see a massive difference. What you have to understand is I think we've forgot how we play when Harvey Elliott is in the team. If he's going to be in the half space on that right hand side, if Salah is narrow, normally we see Salah in between those centre backs and the left back. But if Harvey Elliott is playing just behind him, and we want also Trent to come in behind, we can't just have a straight line down that channel because it's not fluid, it's not interchanging, and it just doesn't work. So
That's a question for you then.
Yeah.
Question, you mentioned in terms of our right hand side, and do you think playing Harvey Elliott there is restricting Salah because he's occupying, let's say, half the space?
Because look, the stats, Gene, are saying Salah is not shooting on goal enough. Is that because of Harvey Elliott? I want our attacks to finish off with Salah in between. That position, obviously further forward, just like how we finished off the attack at Old Trafford for the 4th goal, where Bobby sort of popped it off and he hit it first time, that 4th goal. Or even just sort of more recent, the chance that Waji was on about, the last minute. That is the position Salah needs to be in.
That's where it needs to be, but he's out wide more often not.
But maybe that's why, Harvey is one. I think Harvey is a sort of a reason why Salah is not shooting enough. Why? Because he's, generally speaking, he needs to create space. That's where my only problem is. Even though Salah is picking up those narrow positions over 90 minutes, but because it's still fluid, so sometimes a Trent comes into midfield and Salah goes wide, Harvey in the half space. But we've seen it change where Harvey goes wide and Salah is back to goal and receiving it. And how many times have we seen him roll the defender? But if he's not shooting enough, then my concern is the attack needs to go through Salah and make sure he finishes the attack off. But this is probably the reason why is, he's creating a lot of chances is because he's getting extra attention from opposition defenses. And that's why you see, Salah creating chances, and how many times, maybe a reason why he's created a few more assists as well, this season, and 21 chances in a season where people think that 24 in a season where people think there's something, there's a problem with Salah. So there must be an underlying mitigating factors here, where I don't think it's a lack of form, but it's because of a few of the factors. And another one, like you mentioned earlier, is Thiago missing. When Thiago's playing on the left-hand side, we switch it quickly to isolate their fullback. And if you're not isolating the fullback, Salah is still doing those things that he needs to be doing. His movement is still there. But he's the midfielder that's in the middle of the park, it just doesn't have the speed of thought. And against Newcastle was an example. I'm not picking him out, but he sees that pass and he plays it straight away. But Henderson or Milner either sometimes don't have the ability, or if they try to do it, it's 2-3 seconds slower. And by the time the fullback is out. So, I believe in in relation to your question is, it's not just, sort of Harvey Elliott. There's a few factors why Salah has been, and that's the reason why he's not shooting, is because he's not got into those positions. So there's a few factors. And once, Thiago comes back, I believe we just generally become, it's a fact, we generally become a better team because we play the ball quicker. We see that pass quicker. And hopefully everything will just come together once he's here.
Well, we hope so, because we are really reliant on Thiago to actually come good. Well, he's not that he won't come good.
Yeah.
But Thiago and Melo in one team, eh?
But do you see that though? Who's going to play on the right?
I don't see why not. I don't think it's impossible. If you think about it though, you've basically got two very similar creative. And I'd say, I haven't really seen much of Melo, but what I did watch him when he played for Barcelona, he looked very good offensively. He didn't score a lot of goals, but in sense of getting the ball forward and his speed of thought was a lot quicker than what we're used to at the moment. And I think that's what we need. And maybe, like Henderson will get the ball forward quick enough. James Milner, bless his cotton socks for how old he is, but he's a leader out there. But I think we should be thinking now, these are the kind of players that are starting for us, should be coming on maybe 10, 15 minutes to see the game out. But they're starting for us. That shows that, where we're lacking.
Yeah. Gene, before we head over to our tie against Napoli, I just want to ask you guys, is another question, and should we be concerned, is, I don't know who tweeted out straight after the Everton game, but it was quite alarming, where he said, I think in most of the games, or if not all of them, Liverpool, out of everyone, a Jurgen Klopp side is being outrun by opposition. Outrun. And I want to ask you, what are the reasons for this? Is this team sort of showing signs now, the first signs of losing its legs? And, there's fitter teams, all over the Premier League. Is it a deliberate ploy from Jurgen Klopp and his team, basically saying it's a year where we've got a World Cup, we need to sort of reserve ourselves and make sure we come back and go hard in the second season and stay mentally fresh and physically? So what is it? But we're still having a lot more possession. And I know, generally speaking, as you guys know, you played at a decent level. Even Wajid was never a good footballer.
was never.
I thought you could hear me, Waj. But you guys know, if you generally have more possession, the other team runs more because you let the ball do the work. But
Jurgen Klopp's teams have normally, they run till the end, 97, 98, 99th minute. And the stats don't lie at the end of the day, do they?
But yeah, true.
Stats don't lie.
My point to you guys is, carry on.
If you look at our midfield now, give prime example against United, what did we start with? We started with Milner, Hendo. Now, they're not going to run the same as what somebody who's maybe 4 or 5 years younger than them. And I think this is why they put all the eggs in one basket, try to buy Jude next summer. Now, the one thing that kid can do is run. But is he going to run for the whole team? Maybe not. But We needed, even like this time, they said before we bought Melo that they were after Zakaria. Zakaria, one thing that kid can do is run.
Yeah.
Now,
Look,
we do need some legs in our midfield.
My concern, Waj, and this is the question I'm putting to Gene, is it's not just been outrun. Liverpool have been having a lot more possession than teams, even when they had most of the. They outrun teams even when they had more possession. So they booked the trend of you should run more if you don't have the ball. Liverpool were outrunning teams, and it's not only outrunning; it's less pressures, it's less intensity runs. So should we be concerned? Because it's not just outrunning, we're lacking intensity.
No, but it's true. But if you think about our games recently, yeah, Gino admit this, we have a lot of the ball. Teams just sit back and they hit us on the break. So when we've got the ball, we're not doing anything without the ball, really, are we? We're just getting the ball, we're knocking it sideways, knocking it back, knocking it sideways. The kilometers aren't going to go up unless we do what he used to. But then it comes down to the same thing. We're defending that much high. We're defending so far up. Look at the goal we conceded against Newcastle.
Yeah, but it's just statistically proven in the last couple of years, even when we had more of the ball, we're still outrunning teams.
Yeah, because who did the most outrunning? The fullback on the left-hand side.
As a team.
Yeah.
As a team.
No, but collectively,
that's my question to you. Why are we not doing it?
Well,
look, Asim. Look, when you know, one second.
Midfield outrun teams.
No, our team outrun teams.
No, sorry, our midfield. Now it's a bit static.
Gene, come on, tell me why.
Look, Asim, I find it baffling. I genuinely can sit here and find it baffling that a Jurgen Klopp side gets outrun. That start about the sprints from in the United game shocked me because that's just not us. One thing that we do is fight, and then the lads got a lot of stick, and rightly so because they deserved it after the United game. A lot of fans came out and said that stat just doesn't sit right with us, and looking at the stats, and from a sprinting perspective, so from a running perspective, it's worrying. And there are going to be so many factors to this. One of them is when you've gone so far over the years, so close to doing the unthinkable, it's only natural for you to feel as though that, you know what, it's going to get to you at some sort of point. Losing Champions League final the way it happened, number one. Losing the league by a point. It's only natural. How many times can these lads say, we go again, we go again, we go again? It's hard. And they're humans at the end of the day. So they will. I genuinely believe that definitely has a factor. Another factor is there's freshness. Teams need freshness. You look at the Man City. Why are they? We go again every year. Why? Because it's a refresh. Pep and the other sides, and Fergie did this brilliantly. He'd always bring in two as a refresh every year to keep the hunger going.
100%.
And that was key. And we lack that because we haven't really done that as him. And that's a simple truth. When you don't refresh, and people can come back at me and say, yeah, but we didn't win the title. We won the title of the year. We didn't win anything. You're wrong because we won the Champions League that year. That's why we didn't really need to sign anybody. The players were at their pinnacle. The players were at that age where they were ready to take off. It was 3 years ago. Some of our players were like 26, 27, prime of their careers, going into their prime years. It's 3 or 4 years have gone on. Our players are 30 now. Yes, nowadays players can play until a lot longer, but we're up against a juggernaut in Man City. Man City, you're talking 90 points. You need to get to hit a title, to get close to a title. So it's a factor of everything. And yeah, there will be slight sort of changes in terms of, let's say, formation. When Nunes isn't going to do as much running as, let's say, Firmino, right? So there will be, you might work the channels.
Bobby's played most of the games with Chinese.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And this is the thing. We look at these sort of things and think, is our intensity? Our intensity hasn't been the same. And let's not beat around the bush.
Have we lost our legs?
Some probably.
Maybe.
Look, I'm not going to say they've lost their legs. Come on. They haven't lost their legs, but We lack they lack what they had. And maybe, look, let's not, I
It
can't
might
turn
be
around
the
to you and say,
system.
look, I can't say to you, Trent's lost his legs. He obviously hasn't. I can't say to you, Robbo's lost his legs. They can't have lost their legs. They're already in the prime of their careers. How can players like...
You mentioned two players, Sheen, Trent and Robbo. In most of the games, they've been taken off every 60 or 70 minutes.
They ask him, they're shattered.
Why?
I genuine.
We've
Because
got
Asim, you know, psychologically and mentally, these players, you're gonna. I know. I genuinely believe that, and I believe this, that Champions League final and losing that psychologically has got to us. I think mentally we're not ready. I genuinely believe that we're not ready, and these are mentality monsters which we've gone on about our players. They're not right now, and over the last couple of games. Plus, I say we haven't controlled the games as well. We're not controlling the game. We're not.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. There's a lack of control. No doubt. But
We need
I'm
people back.
just concerned. Why are we having less intense runs, less pressures? I think the tweet mentioned on Saturday, it's around about, it averages out about 5 kilometers, per game.
Less.
5 kilometers.
Less per game.
Yes.
That's a lot of miles.
That's alarming for me. Alarming.
Look, it is alarming. This is a Jurgen Klopp side.
My question to you, Waj, is if we are getting outrun, let's say it is because of we've lack energy, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, and it's not a deliberate ploy by Jurgen Klopp in trying to make us a more of a possession-based team. But do you think then we should sort of adjust the way we play and not commit, so many players forward? Harvey Elliott is a player we just commit, and he's not going to really give us a lot of protection off the ball. Trent coming into midfield. So if we're playing it a way where as soon as we lose the ball and people are teams are exposing us more, should we sort of try to say to Robbo and Trent, yeah, go forward, but just sort of drop about 5 yards and more of a conventional fullbacks rather than making him go into midfield and be exposed to the counter?
I don't think that's going to happen, though, is it? I mean, he's played like that all his life. And I don't even think it's a system. I think it's basically, like Sheen said at the end of the day, psychologically, obviously what's gone on in the Champions League final. And let's be honest, we all thought we'd win it.
I'm not buying this psychological.
No, but
the players, all of them came out the next day and we had a parade. And
we did. They don't want to try the parade,
every player said that, one thing we sort of were doubting how we were going to be received and this and that. Every single player said that, what?
They will do.
We feel mental closure. So you're telling me now, why are they tired?
When you're playing the game now, look at all season, we've got a goal behind. We've got a goal behind, then we're chasing the game, We're not used to chasing games. I know
okay. Yeah, Waj, he's mentioned the mental thing. Yeah, ask him. Okay, I'll give you an example. I tell you to do 10-mile run every day, right? Yeah. 10-mile run, go on a 10-mile run every single day for the next year. You go on your 10-mile run every day, and whilst you're running, once you reach your goal at the end of the season, and you do it once, you'll be all ready to go. You do it twice, you'll be ready to go. 3 times, 4 times.
I'll go and get an ice cream from there.
He's there. Go on.
Gene, his first Snapchat is cardio, and he's walking through the fields. Yeah, his second one is Mr. Whipper. Well, look, carry on. I wanna.
Look, 1 second, watch. Right, look, Asim. If I tell you do your 10-mile run every day, the motivation at the start is a lot more, right? I genuinely believe you're gonna say to me, imagine I said to you, do it. You're still gonna say yes, and you're gonna still. I am not saying that the players are not trying. When you've gone that close twice to losing on by a point, right, a league title. And then you got twice lost the Champions League, right? You're still going to say that you're going to go again because it's a Liverpool side. And I genuinely believe that, they probably did want to go again. But psychologically, I believe that they just fit. And not just psychologically, it's probably a bit physically as well as him. Some of the players
I think this is where we should have freshened up.
The reception you mentioned, yeah, of course. I'm not sitting here and say they're not going to go and do it. I genuinely believe psychologically it has played on them.
I'm with sort of Waj's point, and you touched on it as well in terms of not refreshing. I think yes, there is something called mental fatigue. The psychologists will prove that and tell you that. but I think it's overhyped. Sometimes we try to lean on it
I think
more.
we always make excuses, and that's what we're here for. We
Yeah,
make excuses. When our team's not doing well,
Yeah,
and you sat with other fans, and they're doing that. We're sat there making excuses instead of hitting the nail on the head, thinking, you know what? Yeah, let's be honest. We haven't been. Our standard hasn't been as to what it should have been, and what we've been used to. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the problem since Jurgen Klopp's come in. We've set our standards that high
yeah.
that we're not allowed blips. We're not allowed bad games. Nobody is. And I think this is
This
what we've
league
got
doesn't.
used to.
Waj,
This
I
league
think
doesn't allow you, Waj.
I think
Yeah.
it's personnel. I think it's personnel. Yes, I buy the mental fatigue that is something there that exists, but I think mainly is because of circumstances, our injuries, our personnel problems, and I think the manager needs to sort of take some responsibility for this. Is all of a sudden Liverpool, a team that was more of a machine, all of a sudden there's one player, and if he's out and he's become a massive integral part of a team, he always was. But now I think you feel this team is over reliant on one player, and maybe when you mentioned the extra body that Artur came, he's not the dynamic midfielder, but he's more of a footballer, and that's probably the reason why, if he had a choice between Zakaria and Artur, he chose Artur, is because he knows this team has become over reliant on Thiago as the builder, as the orchestrator, and the player that is press resistant. And when he's not in, he's the main cog in the team that sort of connects everyone from fullback to sort of left winger. And that's probably the reason why I think he went for Artur in the end, is because he's more of a, I don't want to call him a B-Tech Thiago, but he's similar to Thiago in terms of characteristics.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I bought Artur.
The other thing you got to realize when Thiago plays is, when Thiago picks the ball up, you automatically watch the game. Guess what? People run. People make runs.
You know you're going to get it.
Yeah, but when James Milner picks the ball up, or Henderson picks the ball up, people are thinking, what do we do? Should we walk 2 yards closer to him, or should we run 2 yards away from him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, look, there is a quality there is in terms of quality. It's a different level. There's no how many players in world football have got the ability as Thiago has on the ball in that position. There's not many that are a better passer of the ball than he is. There may be one. I don't know. I have not seen him, but I agree. Look, at least Arthur will give us control. That's the thing that we've lacked more than anything in all the games is control. And yeah, he's not a Thiago. He doesn't play the switches and all that sort of thing. But at least he's going to give us control in the middle of the park where we're not losing possession. When he receives the ball, he'll keep it. He
plays a little cute passes.
I think he's more control based than cute passes. If I'm honest, from what I've seen, he's good. He'll keep it that middle of the park. He'll just keep on ticking it along, mate. Where
that's what we need, though.
Possession, and that's what we need. Because there's nobody good enough right now in our team that's good enough to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, like looking at this team now, I know people say Ox has never done it, and he hasn't. But if you think back 2 years before he got injured against that Man City, when he quarterfinals or something, when he got injured when he did his knee in, he was fantastic that season.
Roma.
That's what we bought. And people say, yeah, 40 million quid, he's a flop, but he wasn't then. And since then, even when he's been fit, he couldn't get into a team. So there's no rhythm. There's no rhythm in his game. There's nothing. He'll play 20 minutes.
He was never the same after his injury, though.
Yeah.
He was never the same. And that's the thing. That's the problem. All our injuries have become in sort of in that engine room. And these guys are supposed to be our dynamic midfielders that you mentioned earlier.
Maybe they're overrun.
And you know what? The interesting stat is, in terms of, just to add it on, I know we're wrapping up, but I think I read somewhere our last 5 or 6 injuries have all been hamstrings. Coincidence? I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. Anyway, guys, look, we've been, how long have we been on here? About 50 minutes? 55. Wow. This is a good debut, man.
I'm hungry now.
You're always hungry, you, Raj.
He has a pizza on that table, I guarantee you. Oh, he's got his missus. There's nothing
here today.
Huh?
You told me I've got to sit on my own. I'm alone in this room.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's sort of preview the Napoli game and then wrap things up. It's never been a ground that we've really performed well. We haven't picked up many sort of good results as well. And I checked where they are in the thing. They've had a decent start, second in the Serie A, even though Serie A is not what it used to be. Atlanta are topping it.
Yeah, but Atlanta is smashing it.
Atlanta.
They smashed, I think, Inter Milan over the weekend, 4-0.
No, AC Milan. It was the Milan derby.
No, that was the other day.
Yeah, it was the
That was
other
last week.
day. Last week, yeah.
That was a good game.
They had a good win against Lazio, 2-1. But their main striker, Osimhen, it looks like he's not going to play, which is a big boost.
He's not.
Liverpool. He's not. I don't think he's a big doubt. He's a doubt.
I hope he doesn't play.
Yeah, but coming to Liverpool, he's a good player. Oh, he said it. It took him 55 minutes to say it.
Nobody is, though. You know what I mean?
He's a good player.
Listen, clubs like Napoli do not pay 60, 70 million pounds for a player, if there's nothing about them.
Yeah.
They're not Manchester United, that go pay 89 million quid for duds.
Yeah, exactly.
I just throw that one in.
It took you 55 minutes, though, to have a dig on Man United, which is surprising. But
that's a mother.
But look, coming to Liverpool, I think there might be a case of resting a few players.
Definitely.
Go through the team. Tell me who you'd pick and who deserves the rest. Who needs the rest.
Probably you've got right. Obviously, it goes without saying you have to keep him, wouldn't you?
Go on.
No, but we can do this joint together because we're not picking two separate teams, are we?
Yeah. Watch.
Okay.
Go on.
Let's do it together.
I think you should play the tea lady in goal.
You probably won't. Okay, go on. I think the big one in terms of defense is Matip or Gomez, and I expect Matip to come in.
Well, Gomez had a good game at weekend.
Yeah, but Gomez has played 3 or 4 in a row, man. We need rest. I am not taking no chances. Yeah. Matip is good enough. Osimhen is good in the air. He's a big, tall striker.
You said he was a doubt.
Oh yeah, he's a
doubt. I'm getting happy.
Yeah. Anyway, but I still want Matip to start. I still want Matip to start.
Yeah.
Start the game. In the day, they need freshness, boys. Right.
He's got more composure on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want him to start.
Would you play Gomez at right back and rest Trent?
Yes.
I think I would.
Yes. That was the next thing I was going to say.
So Gomez is still playing then?
Yes. Gomez starts at right back. This is a tough game. This is a difficult place to go. We need a few to get a rest. I'll take a draw in this game.
Or even play James Milner right back.
No.
No.
For me, if James Milner is going to play, I'd rather have him in midfield and not,
his experience at this game would be vital, to be honest with you.
It is. But, look, I expect Trent to play. If Trent played 90 minutes at Everton, I might have said, you know what? He's not thinking. I'd rather I think Trent's going to start. And I think Robbo's going to start as well because he only played about 20, 30 minutes against Everton. Yeah. So I think the fullbacks are there. And it's just the way we play when we don't have, especially this is the game.
Imagine Thiago and Trent not playing. Where's our creativity going to come from?
There you go. Even though I don't mind, it's that kind of game where you take probably a draw away to Napoli and move on. And, even though if, we lose tomorrow, I still think we'll top the group. But it's that kind of sort of, ground. We don't have any happy memories. A lot of fans don't even like traveling, to Napoli with the,
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Never again, mate.
So, look, but they have a player, Zielinski, as well. He's a player that, sort of caught my eye a few times. And he's the kind of player we've been linked for years.
He actually had a shirt on. It was actually meant to sign, but I don't know how far it went. He actually had a shirt on. Apparently did an interview or whatever, but God knows what happened. Then the funny thing is, 2 seasons later, we're going to sign him for 30, 40, 50 million pounds. But that's something we'd probably do.
But to be fair, we've been good in the market, so I'm not going to...
Yeah, but with him, though, I don't think he's as good as he was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But he's got the legs. And what he does is, though, he runs beyond.
He plays in the 10. He's a good player.
Yeah,
look, they're a good side. I think we were going to go through let's do our lineup first. So I think, look, if you go with Matip, Van Dijk, and the front two, midfield.
I think I'd start Thiago, me personally.
No,
Thiago,
it's a one-day injury, man.
Today, sorry.
He said today that there's a possibility he'll be on the bench. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, he should be fit enough to start.
No, bench max, man.
Waj. I just told
You
you.
think
that
you're willing to
we
risk
are-
him? Are you
the
mad?
last- I just told you.
Who
Waj,
did
No
you
that-
instead of him?
chance for a game that we don't even really need him.
Waj,
No, but who
I
are you
just
going to start
told
instead of
you.
him?
Waj, I just told you the last 5 injuries that we've had are hamstrings. Do you want to make a 6? Come on,
listen,
he's trying to
guys,
get in shape.
I'm
no
personally, I
chance,
would.
man.
You know,
We
my
know
theory
what-
always has been, if you're fit enough to be on the bench, you should be
Come
fit
on,
enough
but you
to play.
can't. This is Thiago, man. Waj. Why can't you're willing to risk Thiago in a Champions League first group game away
Yeah,
to
look at
Napoli?
that. Listen, with this Jordan Henderson, look what happened to him.
No,
Who's Thiago?
man. No.
Is that
Your
hamstring as well?
Thiago's flipping no chance.
We know who I want to start, guys, and I think he'll start. Is
Curtis
Ato.
Jones.
I think Ato
Yeah,
will
Arto
start.
Stein. Arto will start.
I think it'd be a good game for him to start, actually.
Yeah, look, he probably knows them.
It depends how fit he is, though.
Champions League as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, but I think
He
he
has
will
played all
start.
season.
Yeah,
Who-
him
who-
and Fabinho
who-
will start.
Who would you start on the right hand side
On the right.
of midfield?
Well, we haven't got a lot of numbers, have we? That's the problem we've got.
Because
Like,
Harvey's
there's only
played a lot of
Harvey
games.
Elliott, isn't there?
I'd go Milner.
Go solid.
But do you think that then it's more a flat 3?
I know, but I just think we're
It
going to
is, though, but then you give the ball to the front to let them do what they want.
Yeah, but you need to connect play.
Like how they like it.
I know where Asim's going with, but I think we might go to shore it up.
I think
Yeah,
we
look, I
will.
won't be surprised. I won't be
I'll
surprised.
tell you what.
Who do you want to start, Harvey?
He might start Curtis Jones.
He plays on the
Curtis
left.
Jones wasn't even in the squad against Everton. He wasn't even
Yeah,
in the
but
squad.
probably
He wasn't-
broke the
Curtis
toe or
Jones will
something.
start.
Huh? I think
Probably
Harvey
broke
will
the toe.
start. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
What?
think he'll
I
start.
can see it.
If Harvey starts, I wouldn't mind Gomez at right back then.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
he'll give
Trent's
us a-
dying if he can't get him off.
Yeah, it would, but I won't be even surprised if I know Trent.
They're a
went
good
off.
side, man. I think they're a good side, especially at
I
home.
think from the team that we
it'll
played
be a-
last, I think they've only got one player that is a Di Lorenzi or something. He's the only guy that's in that. Yeah, he's the only guy that's in that team that played at the weekend that started against
Di
us.
Lorenzo, yeah, right back.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it? Lozano started, didn't he?
Oh shit, on the right wing. Yeah, right winger. He's a good player.
Yeah, Lozano. They've got a
There we
few. They've sold that Brian Ruiz, which
We
I'm
should have bought him. You know that?
Yeah,
We
he
should have
was
bought him.
PSG.
He didn't go to Paris though, did he?
He did, didn't he?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't
Who
think
is
he did.
Where's he gone?
I
I
tell you
don't know,
who's
but
a
I
good
don't think he
player.
was supposed to go to Paris.
I'm just glad that they don't have Mertens anymore because he always had a good game against us.
Yeah.
But
Mertens was a good
that
player.
young kid that they've got is brilliant, though.
And what
Yeah,
about
to, be
Phil
honest,
Jones?
Huh?
to be honest, I've not seen much of him.
I
but
can't,
what
I can't pronounce his name, but he's that. I think he's the looks the player, man. That
yeah.
Crash
Well, look,
Sevilla, something. So I don't know how you say it, man. But he's good. I was checking him out when I found out we're playing Napoli. I checked him out. I thought this is when the draw was made.
Be a good game. I personally think this would be a good game for
I think Arsenal were linked to him. Arsenal wanted him,
Nunes.
and he's big money, man.
Okay, let's go for the attackers. We've done the midfield.
Same.
Who do you think is going to?
We've no choice. The same.
Why? Who's going to start?
Carvalho.
Up top?
Nunes,
Carvalho.
Nunes,
Nunes,
Salah.
man. Yeah,
Diaz.
Salah and
Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Jota, man. Jota's back.
Jota's back, and he looked.
Jota's starting.
He looked
Jota's
good.
starting. I forgot
He
about
came
Jota.
You're going to say, though,
Jota.
Jota only had 2 training sessions before he played against Everton.
But he's
Yeah,
had a little cameo though, hasn't he?
Yeah, hamstring injury.
He's not letting this go. But look, I think who started? Yeah, I think Nunes, and I think Nunes will play tomorrow. Will play.
I think it's a good game for him, you know.
I hope so. And I think
maybe he'll save Jota for the weekend, as him.
Yeah. I'd rather have go all out on this game because I think if we rest a few players against Wolves, we still have enough, and it's Anfield as well. This, by all means, is a very, very difficult tie, and I think we need to go strong.
Yeah, look, I think that will be the team. I think that will be the team.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go, let's get a prediction. We're not good at predictions, Waji. I just thought I'll let you know.
We've
never
got every
got one
single
right.
one wrong.
Yeah, every single one wrong.
We're not even been close.
Go
I'll
on.
tell you what, 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to always back my team. I don't care. Even if I think they're going to get a thrashing, which, is not very often that I think that, but I'm going to back my team. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1.
You need to
tomorrow.
sneak my scoreline, man. I was going to go with a 2-1.
If you're in doubt and you think it's going to be a draw, but you want to back your team, just say 2-1.
That could be a draw.
You want to think,
I have to
who's
back my.
scoring
I
for
can
you,
never
Wad?
say I can never say Liverpool ain't gonna win, man. So I'm gonna go with the 2-1 as well.
2-1. Wad, give me your
Yeah.
scorer for Liverpool.
Darwin.
Okay. Gene, give me your scorers.
Darwin and Salah, as always.
I think Diaz is going to bag one tomorrow. I think Salah is going to. I always back our Egyptian king. Muhammad's going to get one tomorrow, inshallah.
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 Well, hold on. By the way, it's not tomorrow, it's the day after.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I think that's everything. Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Bloody hell. Yeah, I think that's wrapping things up. It's been an absolute pleasure, Big Waj. You're more than welcome to come anytime and just dial your pizza right now. Yeah, you can order the food now.
Listen, they've been ringing me now. When they come to collect it, it's going cold.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I'll send you a picture.
Waj is legend. Waj.
He can't
I've been to the
sleep.
gym.
Waj, I need to have that pizza of yours, man. Next time
When
I'm
you come
down.
in. Or when you're down this weekend.
TK, definitely.
I'll send your son on a diet.
Yeah, I've started I was really
Okay,
bad.
okay.
Anyway, guys,
Yeah,
thank you very much for having us, and hopefully we should have some match reaction. As you know, probably mentioned, we're not going to be traveling to the game this week, but we'll probably want to. I don't know if we're going to go live or we're going to do a post-match reaction after the game. We'll keep you posted on all our socials. If you're arriving now, please drop a like. Give us a follow as well. Subscribe whilst you're here, and drop a comment as well and show some support for our debutant today, Mustafa 345, whatever that means.
I've been on before, mate.
Huh?
I've been on
He's been on
before.
before. On the
Have you?
on the
Oh,
yeah,
he's
on the
road.
Yeah,
He's
me
doing
and you
the
went.
road.
He was on the road.
How could I forget when he was doing my heading down the which game was it? Was it Palace game? I think
No,
it
it
was.
Palace. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
a
it was
Monday.
actually, yeah.
It was Palace. I remember
Yeah,
it.
it was a Monday. How could I forget? Which your sort of your first, I won't call it the front three show, but I don't know what we're gonna call it, but your first like night show. But whatever it is, Waj, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll see more of you coming soon. You won't get the sack from you
Inshallah.
after your first debut. But as ever, thanks to Cheen as well, and we shall see you on Wednesday for the post-match reaction, where we hope to be talking about Liverpool smashing Napoli 2-1, and I could sort of kickstart my predictions with a solitary point. Thank you very much for having us, and we shall see you soon. Take care.
Bye.